The Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, has defended his government's right to deport New Zealand citizens who commit crimes in Australia. Strict visa laws announced in 2014 mean foreigners can be deported on character grounds if they're sentenced to a year or more in prison. The New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, raised her country's concerns with the policy during a meeting with Mr Turnbull in Sydney today. Political reporter Stephen Jedgetts has more.
A whole raft of issues were on the agenda, including boosting trade between the nations and a new cyber security agreement. But perhaps the most contentious issue that cropped up was Australia's policy of deporting non-Australian citizens who have committed crimes. Now, a few thousand New Zealanders have been caught up in this and they've been deported back to New Zealand, despite the fact that some or many of them only have very small vestigial links to New Zealand itself. And New Zealand has argued over time that this is manifestly unfair. They're also unhappy that a fairly large proportion of those people, more than 40%, actually re-offend when they go back to New Zealand. Now, the Prime Minister was grilled about this pretty firmly by New Zealand press here at Kirribilli House. They said, is this the way that Australia should treat family, and is it moral? The Prime Minister, though, was unapologetic. He said, yes, it was moral, it was just. He said Australia didn't apply this solely to New Zealand, it applied to all countries, and as a sovereign nation, he said we had every right to apply the law as we see fit. Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand Prime Minister, made it clear she still doesn't agree with the policy, but said she respected Australia in the end had the right to make this decision. Let's have a listen to both Malcolm Turnbull and Jacinda Ardern speaking about this at Kirribilli earlier today.
There is a right of appeal, which a number of the deportees take up. I understand, I just advised early today, we're both advised that just a little bit under 40% of those appeals are successful. So we have the process, this is in accordance with Australian law, and the process is a fair and just one.
Elements of the deportation policy that have in particular been brought to our attention where, for instance, someone has never stepped foot in New Zealand. It's something that we've been keen to make sure the Australian government's aware of our perspective on that and our strength of feeling around it. But ultimately, it is in the Australian government's hands to determine how they manage that element of the policy.